Good morning, I'm Lucie Maillet. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you all today. I am a woman in tech, and I've been all my life. And I have the pleasure of sitting on the advisory board of a fantastic organization that is called Women in Tech in Switzerland that has put this panel up for us all today. So, thank you. Our topic is Women in Tech and Allyship, Allyship in Leadership, Allyship for a Sustainable World. And before we start this panel, I would like to set the scene with a few data points. First of all, we know that only 3 out of 10 workers in STEMs are women. We know that there's only 30-ish% of women in AI jobs, and even less women in green jobs. And the immediate question I guess you all have in your head is, how can we address our world challenges and support our sustainable goals without having women and actually social diversity invited at the table? And so this panel should be a very engaging opportunity to have individuals, men and women, to join forces in allyship to invite diversity and inclusion in everything we do in order to unlock innovation and support our planet. So on this panel, we have a remarkable set of leaders. I'm going to introduce them to you one by one as I ask them some questions. These leaders are really turning optimism into hope. And you will ask, how do they do that? Well, actually, they take actions. And that's what we want to hear from them. Their story, their insights, what they do on a daily basis to invite diversity and inclusion in everything they do in their leadership positions as allies. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you to Sandy Chong. Dr. Sandy Chong. Sandy, you are joining us from Australia. And you are very much engaged here also in Switzerland because you are a member of the World Economic Forum expert networks when it comes to international trades and also ESG strategy. And because she's very humble, I'm going to tell you that she's a multi-award winner, Sustainability Innovator of the Year, Entrepreneur of the Year. You've done a lot already in your field. But my question to you is that as you're sitting as the ESG board member and only female board member on Cadoux, one of our partners here today, what can you tell us of your experience about promoting inclusion and diversity? What are the benefits and what are the opportunities for allyship?
Sure, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Safia and Lucie, for this opportunity. It's a real honor also here to be here, not just amongst my fellow panelists, but also all the women that came before me, all the women who break barriers, who are change makers and who are making this happening. So from my experience, 20 years ago when I graduated in my PhD for innovation adoption in information systems, it was predominantly a male-dominated industry. So I know I don't look the way I am or my age, but I'm actually 50. So 6 months ago I passed my 50-year mark, and so in my last 20 years of experience, it has always been very challenging for women to work hard, be recognized, and be given the opportunity not just to get promoted, but also to be on the board, to make decisions. So those are really tough. I'm currently on a public mining listed company as well, and I'm the first woman to be appointed onto the board in 40 years. And I would say applause this to the CEO, Roland, because I think he has the foresight 3 years ago, even before the whole wave of ESG came about, that it is essential to have women on the board if they want to meet all the ratings with the ESG and sustainability. And now we're also 7 on top of the world with diversified medals. I'm the chair for the ESG, and I don't intend to be a vase or a wallpaper. I intend to make some changes. And so those are the challenges I see, and it's not easy. This is why we need more women on the board. Studies have proven that when you have more than 30% of women on the board, you have increase of sales by 42%, increase of invested capital by 66%, and also increase of equity by 53%. It makes a lot of sense to have women on the board. I also wanted to remind people the largest consumers in the world are not the Chinese, but the women. So it makes sense. It makes sense to co-create products. If you want to be competitive, if you want to have competitive advantage, you want to make products that are relevant to the market, co-create with women. And how do you do that? You can't do that when you have a board full of 100% men. I mean, you know, some men are very sensitive. I like to believe that. But I think it's important to have women on the board so that we can co-create the right products.
Thank you so much, Sandy. I'm sure you will have other opportunity to intervene during our panel. And let's hand over to Florian Schick. Florian, you're the president of Merck in Switzerland. You traveled this morning. You hope to hear. Thank you so much. Florian, you are a leader who has navigated very diverse cultural and corporate landscapes already in your life. You embody what many would call progressive leadership. And I would like to ask you to share what being a progressive leader means to you personally. I also would like to invite you to tell us maybe how this philosophy, how you apply it daily at Merck, and what benefits it brings. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks so much for the organizers for, I mean, this turnout is amazing. I mean, it's very humbling. I was joining the first part of the session at the very back. Now sitting here is very humbling. Also, when I entered the room, I was the first male person in the room. So I was hoping that actually now we have a very balanced audience, and I think that is a great step in itself. So to your question, so I think, you know, understanding why diversity, equity, inclusion is important makes it very natural for any leader, and here many leaders in the room, you know, to think about how you can be an ally, you know. I think it's not a female topic, we've heard that, but it needs male role models, male allies. I feel actually that's a big privilege of my job that I can do. But it's also an obligation morally and business-wise. You know, I'm working for a pharmaceutical company in Switzerland. I can tell you, you know, there's a huge fight on talents to attract them, to retain them, develop them. So you need to be a progressive company. You need to show progressive leadership. You actually need to do it, not only to talk about it. So yeah, I think that's my view on that. And as I said, I work for Merck, which is a science technology company, 60,000 people, headquartered in Germany. Pretty old, 350 years old. And we have quite a strategic presence here in Switzerland with 2,600 colleagues. So I think that is a fantastic opportunity also to drive in the leadership, you know, the way we make progress on equality. And we have called out the ambition to have gender parity by 2030. So what gets measured gets done. And we've seen, we started in the low 30s now last year. We have actually, we are entered the 40s, and we'll deliver on that objective. But you have to know the catalysts as well. So I think for us listening to the D&I community, to our ERGs, we have, you know, in Switzerland around 100 colleagues voluntarily involved across hierarchy and functions, is a true source of, you know, genius ideas and employee benefits and policies that you can implement. And we did so. Maybe one example I want to share is the fertility benefit, which we have just introduced here in Switzerland and a couple of other markets, which is financial support for all employees, male or female, and their couple and their partners, if they need financial assistance on fertility treatments. And I love it, the employees love it, but it's not only that. I think it's a way also how we can drive change. You know, I think it puts the topic of family planning, career planning on the agenda. You know, for many of us, you know, the 30s, 40s are crunch time, everything is coming together. So if we break these taboos and we start, you know, with our employees to offer this in an anonymous way, so you don't have to disclose, and it's a 5-digit amount from the first day you start the organization. So I think this is one way to start the change, but it should go beyond our company borders, and that's also why I was very happy to be invited on the panel and hope to connect with many of you on the topic.
Thank you, super insightful. Thank you for what you do, Florian. And then moving from Merck, a giant organization, to maybe a smaller organization than very, very sharp positioning with the CEO of ARTIDIS, Marija. The question I would like to ask you is that your leadership at ARTIDIS, I know, really deeply integrates cutting-edge oncology tech, and I know you're going to tell us a bit more what this means, with a strong commitment to diversity. This seems to be absolutely central to your culture. And I would like to understand and for you to share with us all what this means and what benefits you derive from diversity.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I just want to echo everybody's thoughts. It's amazing to see how many of you are here. It just means next year we need much bigger room and we need to be part of the main program at Davos. So what is ARTIDIS? At ARTIDIS, we have developed a novel healthcare technology platform that is based on nanotechnology, and it actually enables near-patient tissue testing. This obviously improves the speed of diagnostics, it improves treatment outcomes, we have fantastic clinical data, but more importantly, which is also important for this setting, it enables access. So patients, particularly women that would need to go to specialized cancer centers, are able to get the best care in community setting, even in rural areas. And what is also very important, as a company, we were able to significantly raise funds to achieve our mission. We raised over $60 million, and we are on a way to raise more. And I think, to come back to the topic of this panel, what was the essential thought when we built the company, and me as a CEO together with my team, was really to focus that we have diversity, but diversity of thought. I think we spoke a lot this morning about gender diversity, but our first focus, okay, we are a startup. We need to achieve our milestones. We need to deliver. We need to raise funds. How do we, in the best possible and fastest way, get to where we need to go? We need the best engineers. We need the best life science experts. We need computer scientists. And we need to be open-minded, because things we are doing nobody has done before. And so when you are open-minded, you don't have an agenda, we want to be a diverse company, but you go out and you look, who are these best people? And reality is, if you are open-minded, the diversity will happen by itself. In ARTIDIS, out of 70 employees, we are very balanced in terms of gender, but we are also balanced in terms of backgrounds. We have people of different ethnicities, nationalities, life experiences. Somebody who had a challenging life upbringing, or it has been a refugee, their approach to solving a problem is completely different than somebody who hasn't had this challenge. So they will know how to pivot. And I think having all those different aspects in the company is essential to achieve success. And yesterday, something that actually even bothered me, I was in an equality lounge. There was a discussion late in the afternoon. I think it was Adam Grant, and he said, well, you know, we see today that diversity and inclusion doesn't necessarily result in, you know, great KPIs or great ROIs, but we need to set it up as a moral thing. Yeah. And I don't think I agree with that. I think we should not say that we need a special program to incorporate diversity and inclusion. And obviously, when you are building a new company, it's a little bit different than your experience, Florian, because we don't have the legacy that we need to deal with. But I think if we focus on many of new companies and enable the people that are building companies to start from beginning in the right way, we can do a lot. And I think this is really the message that I want to bring across.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And welcoming you, Natalia Olynec. You're the Chief Sustainability Officer of the IMD School in Lausanne and also in Singapore. Natalia, you are coming back from COP28. The urgency for action on sustainability is absolutely clear. And the question I have for you is, how can leaders accelerate sustainable practices and inclusivity in their organization? And additionally, Why do you believe that gender diversity is critical in driving accelerated and innovative solutions to our corporate and environmental challenge? So that's quite a lot. Over to you.
Yes, it is quite a lot. And wow, I am feeling incredibly held by this room, by the courage, the intelligence, the drive that I feel from this audience. And so you mentioned hope and action. I have no doubt now that we will be able to achieve our goals, even though they sound incredibly overwhelming. However, we need a new kind of leadership. Sustainability is one of the biggest mega transformations of our era. And we're failing. We're not meeting the SDGs. We are not inclusive. And there's an issue here with our leadership. Diversity and inclusion can be an accelerator and an enabler for the change that we need to see. We need new leadership that will drive systems change. Because guess what? It's not a technical problem that we have. It's not an engineering problem. It's a mindset and a psychological problem that we need to shift the way we think so that we can collaborate across sectors, across functions, and make sustainability and inclusion part of everyone's job. So at IMD, this approach is rooted in our purpose, which is challenging what is, inspiring what could be. We develop leaders who transform organizations and contribute to society. And those last three words are unusual for a business school because business gets a lot of blame for the problems that we have. However, with great power comes great responsibility. And we need to embrace that as business as well. And when we talk about contributing to society, what does that mean? It's not just about a more prosperous society. It's about a more sustainable society and a more inclusive one. Actually, this is one of the biggest opportunities we have. I think the figures that's thrown around is around $200 trillion that we need by 2050 to shift over to the net zero economy. That's quite impressive, and we all need to be at the table when we're making those investment decisions because women and the disenfranchised are suffering the most from some of these climate risks. Diversity and inclusion will be an accelerator for that change. And if we just need to refer to the WEF risk assessment that recently came out to understand what's at stake, what is the cost of inaction? I think it's 7 out of 10 of the risks that were identified over the next 10 years refer to environmental and social risks. The remainder have to do with information, data, misinformation, AI. These two are very interlinked. And this intersection between digitalization and sustainability and diversity and inclusion is something that we need to ensure that it's always connected. So at IMD, we are also looking at how do we bring this intersection between leadership and sustainability together to bring about this new kind of leadership. And we've partnered with the Inner Development Goals Foundation to do this. This is an organization that set up a framework that's helping us reassess the mindset change we need to have to develop new types of leadership that is inclusive, to develop and envision and reach that society that we're striving for. Because if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. So this is inextricably linked. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Natalia. So much for us to take away from what you shared. And moving on, I would like to now invite Safia Agueni. Safia, you're the leader of Women in Tech in Switzerland. You are spearheading initiatives that are really crucial for enhancing women's representation in tech. And I would like you to tell us why allyship is one of the major pillars you are driving as part of your mission, and also what is the expected impact.
Thank you, Lucie. First of all, I'm so humble and grateful to be in a room, so I can only echo the words from all of you and be with such a fantastic leaders next to me. So really thank you for being with us, and thank you for all joining the session. And I'd like also to thank especially Rupa, leading the whole event and who trusted our organization and who gave us space. This is really about empowering and collective leadership. So I'd like to start with that. Women in Tech organization, it's a huge organization around the world. It's about empowering girls and women around the different parts of the world. And we heard in the different panels before on the health equity or India track, we heard about the importance of empowering girls and women. And this is exactly what we are driving. And we are focusing on sustainability development goals, especially some of them, which are education, entrepreneurship, social inclusion. I really need some water, if you don't mind to bring a glass. And we use tech as the catalyst to do so. I think you've probably joined a lot of sessions and look at the whole promenade. It's all about AI, generative AI, quantum computing. So technology is an important catalyst to empower this woman. Now, how about Women in Tech Switzerland? Because this is the team that I have the pleasure to lead. Oh my God. I like to call Switzerland as a small country of giants. Thank you so much. Lots of huge organizations hosted here. The WEF, right? Just one of the major events. And we really thought as Women in Tech Switzerland, there's no way we cannot be here, because that's the place where a lot is happening. You can really push boundaries here. So I'm so thankful that we made this happen thanks to a collective support through partners, sponsors, leaders, team of ambassadors, advisory board, just to name few. There's so many. And that's what I always call collective leadership. So thank you for that. Allyship now, to your question, Lucie. Allyship is a key pillar in our strategy in Women in Tech Switzerland. The reason is simple. When I joined Switzerland about 13 years ago, I didn't expect to find one of the most innovative countries, if not the most innovative country from the different ranks that we see every year, right? With such a conservative mindset, if you allow me to say that. We have so much work still to do from an infrastructure, from supporting women. And I was surprised to find that, right? And we have everything to be the leader in gender equality and empowering women. We have everything. So why is it not happening? I think there's an aspect of mindset. So this is one of the main challenges as a Woman in Tech we decided to tackle. We want to drive meaningful outcomes. I work in a healthcare company. It's all about key outcomes, right? Access to healthcare, we heard that before. With the Women in Tech effort, that's the same. We want to get to some meaningful outcome. Yeah, running events is important, we do that, but we always push ourselves to really challenge and say, what is the outcome we're delivering? We partner with an expert company to launch this program around allyship with the angle of technology. I mentioned before, tech is an enabler. Let me say the following. There are many initiatives on allyship already existing, many and great ones. What I think is important now for those programs is to accelerate it, because we need to take to the next level. We don't have time, right, to wait another 100 years to achieve our goals. So at Women in Tech Switzerland, we decided to tackle a specific program to partner with different industry, different partners in the ecosystem to really accelerate this allyship. Now, two main goals with this allyship, and what's probably you might wonder, what is different since we have so many programs? We are aiming at tackling two main challenges. So first of all, experience and cultivate the allyship, not only to empower and support women, we heard that, right, many times, but actively remove barriers. So equip leaders, men, women, to find out how they can remove those barriers. I see the prompt. And the second is building a community of allies who are going to challenge each other, learn from each other to really address these sustainability development goals. So it's going to take many of us, many organizations, and that's what we wanted to kick off here, a call to action, because it's not, as I said, it's going to take huge effort to take that, but we really need to accelerate this effort.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So really fantastic. We're coming to the end of this panel altogether. I would like to invite us all to carry on the conversations, take those insights, and thank our panelists for sharing their own story, their personal story. I think it's in our reach. This moonshot is definitely in our reach. If we consider that every one of us in your circle of influence, you can decide to invite inclusion and diversity and walk the talk yourself in everything you do. Let's not leave our values at home, bring them in all spheres of influence in everything we do. And I think we will accelerate the transformative change. Thank you so much, and speak to you later and soon. Thank you.